Hello everyone, in today's video we're gonna be doing something completely different. We're gonna be making a game on a single piece of paper, a post-it note shall I say. So how this is gonna work is everything that I write on this post-it note will go into the game. So any code that I need in my game can only come from this single piece of paper. And since this paper is really tiny, we're actually gonna be making Pong. You know that game Pong that came out like 30-40 years ago? Well, it's actually pretty simple to make, allowing us to make it on a single piece of paper. There's still quite a bit of code needed, so it's actually gonna be harder than you think, especially since my handwriting is awful, as you can see. So there's nothing more left than get to work. So the first thing we're gonna do is actually think what we need. So in the game of Pong, the game has two Pong, like balls I guess, and a ball. The ball position is calculated by the position of the hit on the pedal. But in Unity we can actually just put a rigid body on it, so it would actually take care of the most of the physics and we don't have to worry about that. We still need to think about velocity though. We need to make it so that when the ball has hit the pedal, it bounces off with a certain velocity. But maybe just to get familiar with everything, we should start with the player movement. Player movement in Pong consists of going up and down on a 2D surface. Also we have to set the boundary of the allowed movement the player can have. We can do this with invisible walls, which we will have, but just for the safe measure we will do it in script too. Also we need to define when the player has gotten a point, so to speak. So every time the ball goes behind the player's balls, the other player gets a point and the match restarts. And it's finally time to start. When we start talking about everything needed, this piece of paper gets really small. So how to even begin? We first need to start with the imports. We need Unity Engine, of course, and then we need to create our first class called Ball Control. And here you can see me writing this class, but while my handwriting can be confusing, let me explain what I'm actually doing. So this function goBall is used to make the ball go into a random position when the game is started or restarted. In the start we say okay, launch that function after 2 seconds. For the restart ball, it's actually quite self-explanatory. It restarts the ball position and velocity to 0, making the ball stop moving and in the center. Restart game restarts the game and will be used in another class that we're making. And this onCollisionEnter is actually the real juice we want. So it checks if the ball collided with the player, and if it did, it adds velocity to the ball. And as I said in the beginning, it's really easy to add velocity because of Unity's already made rigid bodies taking care of everything physics based. We just have to say it, yeah, it is hit, increase the velocity on the Y and on the X axis, and that's it. Now as you can barely see, we move on to the another class. This one is called Player Controls, and this one controls the pedals, obviously. Now while I don't have space to create an AI, I will be actually controlling both of the pedals. This one again is even more simpler. Every frame we check if the set key has been pressed for both up and down, and if they were, either increase the velocity in the positive axis or in the negative axis. Also we need to make sure that the pedals are both in the bounds of the play area, and for the last one of the script, so you don't have to bear with me writing anymore, we have the simplest script called side walls, which actually checks if the ball has entered the trigger, which will be placed behind the pedals. So once the ball hits the invisible trigger, you restart the game and we do it all over again. Now we have to turn this piece of shit code on paper to an actual code. And here we go. 1, 2, and 3. That's it. Now into Unity. I prepared my ball and my pedal. I first decided to do the walls, so they are just 2D sprites, but the left and the right wall will have side wall scripts attached to them, so that the game knows that the point has been scored. Next up are the pedals. Now I just drag them in and assign them a player tag. Also we need to put the colliders on the pedals so that the ball doesn't go right through us. And obviously some physics, and we're actually gonna make it kinematic. What that means is that we've handled the physics needed in our scripts, so you don't have to do much. And we need the player control scripts in both of the pedals. I'll make controls for one W and S, and for the other arrow up and arrow down. Now onto the ball. It is the complete same as the pedals, the only difference is that we're adding a ball control script on it. We just need to make the background black just for the sake of it, and we'll launch the game, and voila! A working Pong game made completely on a single piece of paper. And as you can see, I can play, bounce, score, the game restarts and everything. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you can subscribe for more videos, I'll be so appreciative, and I'll see you in the next one.